Ladies and gentlemen.
You're listening to the Carolina Performance Volleyball Parrott Academy Championship Game Tailgate Special with Michael Dwayne Humphrey. Brought to you by Brian Hanks. Today's guest, one of Brian Hanks' proteges, Shane Aube, the voice of Parrott Academy and the University of Mount Olive Trojans. Now, here's Humphrey.
Thank you, Susan, for that. You're very deliberate tonight. I guess you had a nice vacation back here in the studio.
I did. Me and my husband had a lot of rest and relaxation. It was a good time.
Good. That's good to hear, Susan. Thank you again for being back, and thank y'all for joining me on the Carolina Performance Volleyball Parrott Academy Championship Tailgate Show. We're starting today on Monday. I have a show is packed full of interviews. I've got Shane Aube tonight. I have Coach Matt Beeman. I have Coach Kerry Christian, head coach Josh Elliott coming up. I have the Director of Business Operations at Rocky Top Sports World, Andrew Capps, who's also the organizer of the Black Bear Brawl, where Parrott has played the past 2 years. And Kerry Christian actually played 2 years ago, 2 years before Parrott played this game the other night in August. I mean, so Capps knows all these teams. He knows both these teams. He's got a lot to say. But now, without further ado, the voice of the Parrott Academy Patriots, and that's my buddy, Shane Aube. As we got into the questions and how we discussed both teams, Shane and I we started talking about the difference between last year's Parrott team who lost to John Paul in the semifinals at home to this year's team. How are they different? And here's his answer.
Well, last year was a team definitely built around Jalen Solomon, and now it's a team built around several guys and several weapons. I mean, you never know who's going to touch that football behind. I mean, you can pretty much, 6 or 7 times out of 10, it's, who's Braxton Myers, Braxton Lofton Myers. But then the other night, Silas Rouse absolutely took over. And that's something Matt Beeman's really good at doing, is making adjustments, because the first time, as you know, they didn't beat Face by a whole lot. And this time it was that ball game was over quick. And even with Ben Barrett not really playing after the first half, but you've got a deep ball threat that if you throw it up and he's close to it, he's going to catch it. But they've got several weapons, and even Cole Watson behind them. These are big bodies that can just get you that third down yardage that you need. And he can quickly recognize that nobody was going to stop Silas Rouse. It was like hitting the train. And, trying to stop a train. And whereas Myers is your fast guy who gets around the ends, Silas Rouse doesn't need to go around the ends.
Shane pointed out Matt Beeman goes into a game with a specific game plan, but it's up to his discretion to change that. When he sees something going well, he leaves it there. If he thinks something needs to be changed, he adjusts the game plan based on what is happening in the game.
They're really so good at, in that case, using Lofton Myers as a decoy in a lot of ways, and because when they go to hand the ball off to him, the whole defense focuses on it, zones in on him, and then sometimes you can use him in that reverse way where they're keying on Lofton Myers, and then a little play action. Next thing you know, they're downfield to Barrett, 60 yards, and see, just knowing that they can do that makes these teams not leave a man or two off to cover downfield, which opens up that line a little more. But they're really good. I mean, Parrott's disciplined, you know what I mean? These guys are close. They're playing like brothers, a band of brothers, and the confidence level is high. And so it's going to be real hard. And Parrott's in the business of is punching you in the mouth to start the game. They're in the business of let's go.
No secret that the former offensive coordinator, Matt Beeman, loves offense. He loves defense, but he loves offense. So 9 times out of 10, if Parrott wins the toss, they're going to get the ball. They're going to take the ball. They're not going to defer to the second half. And that's what he likes doing, and he likes to strike first.
Yeah, and you see teams do that now, especially that's a ploy. And I'm sure Parrott's practicing for this and thinking about this. There's a lot of those You saw it the last game against St. David's. St. David's, I mean, they immediately went to try to get the ball back, immediately just kicking it short like that and hoping it'll just bounce off a linebacker's chest. And that's the only way, because you don't want to kick it to Braxton Lofton-Myers back there.
One of the major factors to Parrott's offensive success this year has been the play of senior Braxton Lofton-Myers, not only offensively but defensively. He is just a beast. He's got a motor, and he does not come out of the game.
I almost do a double take when I see him make a tackle, because I'm like, wait a minute, didn't he just score a touchdown? Didn't he just run that in, and now he's made the tackle? And look, game-saving tackles, tackles where it's like if he don't grab him, he's gone.
Specifically, the tackle he made on Eli Black in the Black Bear Brawl with it was inches to go twice. Braxton Lofton-Myers saved that game, a game-saving tackle. The defense itself is so good. They have really are underrated, and they just play harder than most defenses I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, these guys they get after it. You know what I mean? And they're disciplined and they execute the plays that's called. I mean, but yeah, this is a tough bunch. Defense wins games. It's fun to watch, and they create turnovers, and they tend to be in the right place at the right time on defense, especially on pass coverage. If that ball gets thrown, if that ball is off, they're going to pick it off. So that's the thing the challenge is that Parrott is so good at takeaways. They usually win the takeaway battle.
Parrott's secondary will be challenged. Kerry Christian runs a pro-style offense in the shotgun, a run-and-gun offensive type game, and the secondary is really going to have to be on their toes and watch out for the deep pass.
Yeah, I think so, and that takes a big adjustment too, because Parrott's used to facing teams that don't have that style of offense. Kerry can score, and a lot of it's going to come down to special teams too. Cavitas has been great at converting kicks, and Parrott's been good for the most part in getting the conversions. But I don't think it'll come down to that. I think Parrott's going to come in there like wild dogs and just run the table.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And that was the voice of Parrott Academy Athletics, all Parrott Academy Athletics, Shane Aube, the voice of the University of Mount Olive Trojans, and the voice of the Wood Ducks, Bird Dogs baseball, Bird Dogs. And Shane Aube, man, that guy knows more about sports than anybody I know. He's so good, man. We love baseball together, man. He and I connected early with the baseball connection, man. And he was calling Parrott games, doing the PA stuff, and then I was sitting there beside him doing the play-by-play, and then I switched up, let him do the play-by-play, and he's so good at play-by-play, man. He deserves a shot somewhere. And he works for Curtis Media Group, and he loves those people over there. They do a great job, and so I really thank him. And look, coming up, I do have a couple of more interviews coming up. I have Andrew Capps, the Director of Business Development at Rocky Top Sports World. He was the organizer of the Black Bear Brawl the past 3 years, and he had both Kerry Christian and Parrott there in the last 3 years, and he knows Kerry Christian well, and he knows Parrott, he knows Coach Beeman well. Really good insights, and listen, I want y'all to check him out. It may be this evening before I have that, or maybe tomorrow morning. I do have hopefully Josh Elliott, the head coach at Kerry Academy, Kerry Christian, he's scheduled to join me, and you'll get some insights on Kerry Christian and how that high-powered offense works and what they plan to do. He probably won't tell me a whole lot, but I know Coach Beeman's looking forward to that interview. And then finally, I have Coach Matt Beeman. I spoke to him earlier this week, and he's excited about the opportunity to try to go undefeated and win a title for his guys. It's not about him; it's about his boys. It's about his team, his family, and it's a group of team, the ultimate team. I'm telling you, these guys, and I pray and hope that they win this game Friday night. They deserve it. They've put all the work in, and I know Kerry Christian does too, but they won a couple of years ago. It's Parrott's turn. They hadn't won in 3 years, so it's time for Beeman to get that 5th championship. So I pull for him, man. I love that school. Thank you, David Moody. Thank you, Trent Mooring. Thank you, Brian the Man. Brian the Man. Yeah, y'all know who he is. He is the only guy, the best sports writer in the history of sports writer, and that's my guy. And I really appreciate it. He's the sponsor of the this Shane Aube interview. He's helped him a lot. He said, or Shane does. Shane gives him credit, and Brian Hanks is the man. I mean, he was at the Parrott game. He was a special captain there. Him and his wife Linda. So they had a great. Now Paul, I love Paul, man. He's a good guy. That whole family, man. They're full of sports people. So, and thank you, Robert Kravitz. Thank you, David Moody, as I said, Trent Mooring, the whole Parrott family. Thank you, Brian Hanks. Thank you, Carolina Performance Volleyball, Shane Aube. And everybody, I can't think of it. Matt Beeman, man, what a great guy. So anyway, all right, I'll talk to y'all soon, man. Listen up for the interviews coming up, man. And look, if anybody wants to sponsor me, help me get to the game, you can at Humps Heroes for Venmo and PayPal, or Michael-Humphrey-185 on Venmo, and at Humps Heroes on PayPal, and then $ Pack Attack 95. And that's all I got. Thank y'all. See ya.